We've been playing, obviously, a lot of Tom Petty, a lot of tributes to Tom Petty since his passing, a couple weeks ago.
Looks like it's working because people are going out and buying the albums.
Yeah, his greatest hits collection re-enters the Billboard top 200 at number 2 since he's died, with him and the Heartbreakers.
But it's different when you sell albums now, right? Isn't it the way Billboard looks at it? Isn't it different? Like it's not like they're just not tracking like the CD or the sales at the local record store.
We're doing downloads. I mean, I think most people download their music now.
Right. So
you don't really see
I think
CD
Billboard
store.
actually incorporates like YouTube views.
That I don't know.
Things along those lines. I don't know how you do an album from that standpoint, but maybe iTunes downloads. Maybe people are downloading the entire album in iTunes. Do you get a break on iTunes when you download the entire album?
You do, yeah. Like each song can either be 69 cents to 99 cents or $1.29. But if you download the whole album, it might be $7.99 or $8.99 or something like that. Okay. And you're getting 15 to 17 songs.
You pay this for your music?
What's that?
You pay this for your music?
Do I do this?
Yeah.
A little bit, not a lot. I've only downloaded a couple of albums and then a couple of songs.
You paid money for music.
You know where I do it? I support a lot of the local guys. Like Proxima Produm just recently put out a new album this year, and one of the guys left, and I forget his name. Bryson left. He went to follow his fiance and become they were moving to Denver or something or somewhere in Colorado.
Yes.
Anyway, so one of the other guys stepped up, and I just am so bad with names. But anyways, they've got a really unique, different sound now, and I kind of dug it. So I download like 4 or 5 of their tracks. So I gave them like $4 or $5.
So you'll only pay for them if they're local music?
No, not necessarily if I like it. But I like to support the local guys. There's another artist that I know, Mark Adams. He's a winemaker. I know him through my wine show, and I've downloaded his album before it was like $10. And I don't know. It's $10. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I don't spend a lot of money. So it's like, oh, whatever. What the hell? Download some music every once in a while. And then I have it on my phone.
Is it seen as a compliment to Proxima Parada, or who's the other person? The winemaker? Mark Adams. Yeah. Is a winemaker first or a musician first?
He's a musician first. I don't know. That's a good question. I should ask him.
What kind of wine is he making?
He's a hardcore musician, but winemaking is the full-time job.
What kind of wine is he making?
He's making like Rhone varietal, so Syrah, Grenache, off his family's property off Vineyard Drive up in Paso. Ledge Vineyards.
Which is better, his music or his wine?
They're both very good.
Way to hedge your bets on that.
No, I mean, I don't want to be. I love his wine. But some of the music is great.
I mean, enough to.
I know you've heard the song.
You bought him.
Bobby Fox.
No.
The mayor of Paso.
Not heard that song.
You've heard that song because you listen to our other station that plays.
Yeah, but I've not heard the song,
and it's on all the time. He also sings a song called.
I know, but there's never any DJs telling me what the damn songs are.
That's your biggest complaint, isn't it?
That's all it is people talking about their wine and how great their wine is. But
we have a station here that plays a lot of local artists.
Yeah,
and it talks a lot about wine. That's where I do my wine show.
Cool station. If you want to know what the local artists are, don't listen to it because they don't tell you what the.
That's not true. I'm on the station every afternoon.
I've never heard you. I've never heard anybody tell me.
You're so full of it.
I'm serious. That's why. What
was your question?
My question is it a huge compliment to the artists if you go to Proxima Parada or this other guy, the winemaker, music guy,
Mark Adams,
and
Mark Ledge Adams,
and you listen to his music for free on YouTube and maybe pirate it?
I don't know if you can even get it on YouTube.
Is that seen as a slap in the face?
Yeah,
Proxima Parada you can get on YouTube.
Okay, listen, these guys, especially Proxima Parada, because Mark has got his day job, which is his vineyard, and I like to support him, and I know him. Proxima Parada, I don't know as well. I know the guys a little bit. I like their music. They're local guys. I would just rather support the local guys that are trying to make it.
Mm-hmm. But.
They're always giving us CDs, too. That's the thing. He gave me the CD, but I'm like, what am I going to do with this? I mean, I do have a CD player in my truck, but I don't usually listen to music in my truck. I listen to it when I'm hanging out in the backyard. I don't have a CD player out there, so I'm like, I'm just going to download this damn thing.
But they make it available on YouTube. I mean, they're the ones uploading it, so people will listen to it on YouTube.
I don't want to listen. I don't want to go to YouTube.
Okay.
I want it on my phone. I want the quality. Everything.
You could download it on YouTube. It's very easy to record something on YouTube.
I'm not a YouTube guy like you are. You're just like this. What is up with you and YouTube lately? You're all about YouTube.
I love YouTube.
You bought the subscription, didn't you?
No, I haven't bought.
You're going to, though.
I'll do it before October 31st because they give you 3 months free if you do so.
There's a reason why you're so YouTube.
Well, no,
it's like when somebody buys something that and then all of a sudden they're just always talking about that type of thing.
No. I just use it as a point of reference. I don't care where you're getting the music.
Like when you bought that minivan, you would have thought, "Oh my God, you bought a Lamborghini."
No. I'm just using it as a point of reference that everybody can grasp their head around because a lot of people go to YouTube to listen to music. But are you?
You do?
Yes.
It's like the last. I'm thinking
you buy the music. I know.
I'm like you Pandora or you Spotify,
or you buy the music,
or you download
the
music.
Yeah, but Pandora and Spotify. I don't like. I've never gotten into Spotify. I don't understand Spotify. Therefore, I don't venture into that. It's a
stream.
Area.
It's a stream, but you get to pick the songs.
Pandora, you don't get to pick the songs.
No, you just get to pick an artist.
So I'm not really big on Pandora. YouTube, I type in Proxima Parada. And their song comes up.
I understand.
So
I'm not knocking it, Jeff.
I listen to it.
I know you love it. I'm not knocking it.
I listen to it, and now sometimes I have to listen to a 15-second spot before it, but I listen to it.
See?
And sometimes if I like it and I want to take it on the go with me, I'll record it and I'll turn it into an MP3, and I don't have to pay any money for it. But is that doing wrong by the artist by doing that? Because I am listening to their music. I mean,
no, you're supporting them.
They're artists,
but supporting them.
I'm not supporting them. Financially, I'm supporting them.
Do what you can
by.
Listen, you're raising a family
consuming
over there.
their art.
I don't think they're going to be upset with you. You've got a family to raise. Your hands
like when you go to an art museum, you don't get a free pass. You got to pay the money to go into the art museum.
Not always. Sometimes they have these parties. You walk in, you even get free booze. It's a good place to go get free booze.
So that's the YouTube equivalent to the art museum.
YouTube is the free art exhibit with free booze.
I mean, if they're doing it for art first and foremost,
no, they're doing it to they want to make money so they can continue to do it. Not if everybody's independently wealthy to what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're asking you online what's your favorite greatest hits compilation.
The ones that are best.
I have my 5.
The ones that are best obtained on YouTube.
These are my 5 of all time. I want to compare mine with yours. So I feel like there should be a drum roll or something. Like we need to make a big deal about this.
We do. Why do we need to make a big deal about it?
Because it's a big deal, Jeff. Oh yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. Number 5. I'm going to give mine, then you're going to give yours. Actually,
you're not going to like how I did mine because I did mine totally different. But go ahead.
I'm going from up to my number 1 choice. All right, and you don't have 5, so I'll just do number 5. Madonna's Immaculate Collection came out in the 90s.
Yay.
It was blue, had all her big hits on it. Number 4, George Strait, Straight Out of the Box. It was a 4-disc compilation set.
Well, that doesn't count. That's like 4 albums in one. Okay, those are your 5 right there.
No,
because
that's
you
not.
got Madonna and 4 other CDs.
That was his greatest hits. It was
that
Straight Out of the Box.
It's a box set. That's not a greatest hits album. That's a box set.
Okay, whatever. Okay? What do you got for number 4?
Huh?
What do you got?
Oh, you want me to go? You want to go back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay, this is how I did this differently. I hate greatest hits compilations. I think it's a way to fulfill your contract to the record label by putting out a greatest hits before you break off with the record label. So I did not go with greatest hits. I went with best albums from these bands. Number 4 was from Toad the Wet Sprocket, Dulcinea, okay? Because it has all the greatest songs on it. Now, there's a couple good songs on the other albums, but I think the best album is Third Eye Blind's, Toad the Wet Sprocket's Dulcinea.
All right, number 3 on my list, Tupac, Greatest Hits, Changes. It was a 2-disc Greatest
Hits. Once
again,
a box set.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
there's no rules here.
The album is, the question was, come up with your favorite Greatest Hits album.
No, compilations. And that's a Greatest Hits compilation.
Oh, well, if box sets are into this,
do you want to change your mind?
Change my mind? No, I don't.
What do you have at number 3?
I think it's cheating going with the box set.
All right. I feel like you just want to argue with me.
Give me your box set.
Give me your top 3, whatever.
My top 5. I did come up with the 5th one. Number 1, actually. Right. Number 5. Number 4 then would be.
You just gave me number 4.
No, that was number 5.
Oh, okay.
I had to bump one up. Number 4 would be Third Eye Blind's self-titled debut.
Okay. This is not a greatest hits again. You talk about following the ruls.
Name me another song. Name me another song.
Following the rules.
Name me another Third Eye Blind song off of another album besides a song off their self-titled debut.
Unofficially, there's
yes, that's their greatest hits.
What's number 3? I already gave mine. It was Tupac changes. I was at Madonna, George Strait, Tupac. Now it's your number 3.
All box sets.
Now no, Madonna was not.
Number 3 is Blind Melon's self-titled debut.
Another not greatest hits.
It is a greatest hits. Name me another song off of another Blind Melon album.
Yeah, I know, I got it. Number 2, Foo Fighters. Greatest hits. This was a 1 CD.
I own that
greatest
one.
Hits. Well, we all do.
I own that one.
We were given it here at the radio station.
Is that how?
Yeah, we didn't pay for that one.
I just know it's kicking around on the floorboard of my wife's car right now.
All right, and then what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the first release from the Jim Blossoms, New Miserable Experience. That's the best album from the Jim Blossoms.
All right, now we're going to get to our number 1. Do you want to guess what my number 1 is?
No.
Can you guess? Knowing me, you know me 20 years. 20 years, you know me. Who's my favorite artist?
The Led Zeppelin box set. I don't know.
No, who's my favorite artist? Come on. Who's my favorite artist of all time?
Phil Collins?
Yes. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong one. You actually got that one right. Serious Hits Live. It's got the carousel on the front. That's a pretty damn.
My favorite
and then let me guess yours. Japan Droids.
No,
first titled release album.
It's actually this was tough because I think Gish is a really good album, but I think every single song on Siamese Dream was just that much better than every single song on Gish. So I'm going with Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream. It's the best greatest hits album of all time.
I know you like to be difficult, just to be difficult, because you were only child and you didn't have anybody to pick on during your youth.
I love how you bring your junior psychology degree into this.
But
psychology major or minor?
Yeah, minor.
Okay.
Minor. Actually, minor. I was a minor. I was a business management minor, and then I had this is my minor. We're talking about compilations, and just because you don't like compilations, you're not going to talk about any compilations.
We're talking about greatest hits.
You're only going to talk about compilations. Mm-hmm. That meaning you take songs from other albums and they put it on one album to say, hey, these are all of our hits. These are all the big songs that were played on the radio. These are all the songs people bought as EPs or singles. And of course, some of these albums.
When Little Christy and Little Lindsay come to play the Vina Robles Amphitheater this weekend, and you say you score a backstage pass, and you get to meet and greet them, and you get to say something to them. Say something poignant to them. And you go up to them and you're like, man, I'm a big fan. I just love the Fleetwood Mac Greatest Hits album.
You don't say that.
Exactly.
Everybody knows you don't say that.
Exactly. The artists don't like the greatest hits. The true fans don't like the greatest hits. The greatest hits are just meant to get the
to say that you
the
have
populace
a
to
real
sell some albums for the populace.
Okay, now
everybody does it. There's bands that don't have more than one hit. There's bands that have
I know. I'm going to give you one right now. Sammy Hagar's other band. I can't think of it. Chicken Wings. No, Big Chicken Wings.
Chicken Foot.
Chicken Foot. That's what it was.
Chicken Wings.
Sorry, I got Chicken Wings on the brain. They sound good.
Chicken Wings. That's a good name for a band.
Bold School Buffalo. Chicken Wings?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Chicken Wings.
Bigfoot. I mean,
Chicken Foot.
Chicken Foot.
Yeah,
I got Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot and Chicken Wings.
You love their greatest hits compilation.
You could go to therapy school on me on that.
You go up to
Chickenfoot comes out with a best of greatest hits, and we're like, "What are you talking about? You only had one album, right?" No, but they had two because one of them was a live album. It was the same songs live, and they put. I understand that in that instance, that's ridiculous. Okay,
yes,
but whatever. I have no idea why they're doing that. They're very busy. They didn't have time to do another.
Like
album.
if you went up to.
But
any artist.
Talk about Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and all those hits.
I'm talking about Fleetwood Mac,
Fleetwood Mac, though. They had all those hits.
What if you went up to Tom Petty before he passed away a couple weeks ago? You went up to Tom Petty and you said, or I guess it was last week.
Well, he'd probably say you're a fan. You're just not a true fan.
You said, man, I'm a huge fan. I just, my favorite, really, what's your favorite album? My favorite album's your greatest hits. He would be like, all right, thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming by, bro.
What else is he going to do?
The true artistry of an artist, of a musician.
He dropped one of his second albums. Is he going to hug you?
It lies within the putting together of a complete album. That's the artistic work of the artist, okay? If you're just in it to hear your favorite sons, you're in it to hear your favorite songs.
I saw this happen.
Might as well listen to the radio.
I actually saw this happen, and it was Garth Brooks, and it was years ago, and it was a friend of mine that worked at a country station. We went down to meet him, and I got to go last minute. Anyways, big Garth Brooks fan, right? But he talked to him about his Chris Gaines years, like when he was Chris Gaines and he did the top 40 and the love songs or whatever it is that he did. Do you remember those years? Vaguely?
I didn't go...
Late 90s, early 2000s?
I know that it didn't go very well for him.
It didn't go very well. But he sat down and talked to him for almost 10 minutes about the Chris Gaines album and why he did that, because nobody talks to him about that. That was a project that was near and dear to Garth Brooks' heart.
And that's
Believe it or not.
He probably wanted to talk about.
No fences, rope, and
because he's never had to talk about it before, because nobody ever talks to him about
Everybody's always talking about,
Exactly.
Yeah, you got a friend in low places,
if you
or the
said,
dance.
Said, man, I am a huge fan of all of your work. What's your favorite song? Friends in Low Places.
You know, the funny thing about that song, not that a lot of these artists write their own songs anyways, but were you the one that was telling me that, right? Wasn't it Mark Chestnut that wrote that? That actually released that song first?
He didn't write it. There's some guy in
But he
Nashville.
released it on an album.
That's how country music works. Some guy in Nashville is the puppet master, or one of 5 puppet masters that writes all the songs for everybody that's better looking than they are.
Exactly.
And then they
all look like, all these guys look like Harvey Weinstein, and they're sitting in a closet somewhere writing all these songs for good-looking people to release and do videos.
I need 17 songs by the end of the week. You got it.
And they're talented. They're just hideous. No, but whatever the reason is, and we're joking, but so I see exactly what you're saying. If you can find something, if you're a true fan and you take that time, that means a lot more.
The true artist.
That still has nothing to do with why you couldn't come up with any compilations. You're just giving me albums.
Because those are
you're
albums,
true fans.
Those are the albums that are the best put together albums from each of those artists that I read off.
You're trying to say because Phil Collins' Serious Hits Live is my favorite album that I'm not a Phil Collins fan?
If you went up to Phil Collins and you said, Phil, hey, buddy, what's going on, man? Huge fan of your work. Phil Collins says to you, oh, really? Like, you like Genesis work? And you're like, yeah, I like some Genesis. I like your solo stuff, too. Really? What's your favorite album? Your Serious Hits Live?
Get out of here.
He'd walk away.
Well, he'd will away because he's in a poor guy fell down. He's in a wheelchair.
He's in a wheelchair still?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's in a wheelchair, but when he does shows now, his last tour, he would do it sitting down in a chair. And it wasn't a throne that like Dave Grohl did when he broke his leg that looked cool. He was just sitting in like a fold-up chair.
He should have just done all the Genesis songs. Didn't he do, when he was in Genesis, didn't he do some songs, he would play the drums while singing?
Right.
He should just do that.
Because nobody would know.
The chair's there.
Nobody would know.
The chair's there.
Yeah, you're already sitting down. Then nobody knows how
it's
old
like
you
one of those things where, he's sitting there and then the curtain comes up and he's sitting there behind a drum kit and he's like, and then goes into it.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, I was calling to talk about, you guys were mentioning about the greatest hits CD. Have you guys ever talked to somebody who said that their favorite CD of an artist was the greatest hits?
Yeah, Jeremy. I talk to him every day. 20 years.
I just don't understand that at all because, like, if, in the 90s we had CDs, right? So if you wanted to buy, 3 songs from each CD, you would have to spend, like, what, $60? Where Greatest Hits just gave you all of them without having to spend all that money, right?
Yeah, what they did with Serious Hits Live, it's Phil Collins' live performance, and they just go from one song into the next. You can't even notice when it changes tracks.
Sounds like it's a real concert.
I mean, it just sounds like one big, 90-minute concert that you're listening to.
Right.
And the energy of the crowd, and it's just such a great recording.
Trust me, I'm a frugal guy. I see the importance of a Greatest Hits compilation, and I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't buy a Greatest Hits at any time in my life. But then, after thinking about it, it's like, well, it's lazy on the artist's behalf to do a Greatest Hits. It's like
Well, think about how much money you save back, especially when you had CDs. Now it's different because you can buy songs.
Yes.
Right. I understand where you're coming from. You're saying from the consumer standpoint, buy the Greatest Hits because all the songs that you like are on one album. Jeff is saying it's just disrespectful to an artist because they worked so hard on these other songs that weren't big hits but meant a lot to them. So, and
you learn so much from the actual the way that the albums are put together, and you kind of get a window into why the artist does things the way they do by the order that they put the songs in on the album. And you don't get any of that with the Greatest Hits. With the Greatest Hits, it's just like, okay, here's this did well on our last 5 albums. We're going to slap it all on this CD and sell a ton of albums so we can make some money. It's a sour taste, but I understand the frugality of it. If there's an artist that I might not like all that much, but they have some good songs. I like 3 or 4 of their songs, and they happen to be on their Greatest Hits album. Back in the 90s, I would buy their Greatest Hits album, but I would not buy any of their other albums. So I understand the importance of it. Now you can make your own Greatest Hits albums. It's really dumb to put out a Greatest Hits album now.
And a lot of times it's the record company. It's that has their contract. They're the ones that put out the Greatest Hits album so they can make more money.
Yeah.
Because they're making money off every CD they put out. And they're like, oh, wait a second. You've got like 7 hit songs. We'll do that in a couple live performances and we'll sell it for $15.
I guess in hindsight, a good thing that comes from the shift in the way that people can consume music now in 2017 is we're not going to have any more Greatest Hits albums. We really aren't.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And I'm not sure exactly or positive, but I'm sure that the artists are still pulling, if they're still on contract with them, I'm sure they're still making the same percentage of money they were making off of putting normal albums out.
Oh, yeah, they were. But, yeah.
And it's funny you bring this up and you talk about 90s and the CDs because that's the last time I bought music, really. I mean, we started talking about me downloading some local bands that around here on my iTunes account, but for the most part, I don't buy music anymore. I just listen to the stuff I had when I was...
Michael Jackson had a lot of hits, so if you wanted to collect all those songs that you really liked, you were going to be cherry-picking a lot of CDs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or for the Eagles or, Led Zeppelin, that would really made sense back then, but like you said, now, songs are 99 cents. You put your own together.
Yeah, just grab your favorites. You don't have to listen to the whole album.
Right, and Aerosmith box sets back in the day. I remember, my parents went crazy for those types of things, and then now they were like $120. You'd never spend $120 on an album these days.
It's so funny is we get these because we're in radio, so we'll get these press releases all the time that says so and so's releasing a box set, and our response is like, who gives a rat's ass?
Right? Does anybody even buy CDs anymore? I really don't know where to buy CDs. Walmart, I don't think sells many of them anymore, and Best Buy is. If you live in North County.
See, I do it a little differently than Jeremy.
Go to Boo Boos.
Jeremy downloads the music of the artist that he wants to support financially. I will go to Boo Boos and buy their CD. I like having the physical CD.
When I was in the military, they down in San Diego, they had quite a bit of those hole-in-the-wall record places that I used to hit because there's something about holding it in my hands. Because, going from like an Android phone to an iPhone, you usually lose all the music you bought on one of those accounts.
Oh, yeah.
You end up buying it twice.
That's why you never buy the iPhone. Don't succumb to
what are you talking about?
Don't succumb to Cupertino.
The easiest way to go.
Next thing you know, you're paying 99 cents a song.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for the call. No it's interesting points there. The CD thing is, I just don't have if I want to go sit outside, what am I going to go? I have to buy a boombox to play CDs out there. You know what I mean? Where if you download it on your phone, you Bluetooth to your speaker.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.